guys, it's Sarah Taylor. I'm here in my studio and I wanted to give a quick demo on how I varnish my paintings. So this particular painting has some pigment in it, so I used a Krylon varnish, which I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is Krylon, it's called Kamar varnish, and this is great because the color art pigments in particular, they like to bleed, and they can bleed into your varnish. So whenever you're using any color art primary elements pigment, you want to put this down first. And I just sprayed the areas that had the pigment. You don't necessarily have to spray the entire painting, just the areas that have your pigment coloration. So I did this already, and I'm going to go over it with a coat or two of Liquitex satin varnish. This is wonderful. I like the orange label varnishes. They come in satin, semi-gloss, high gloss, just a regular gloss. The high gloss is pretty incredible because it can actually dry it dries with a very, very high sheen, especially if you float it on top. However, I'm just going to do my brush technique with the satin finish. This is kind of my standard varnishing method. So first things first, I cut it about half and half with water. And this is actually, I did put distilled water. Oh, and there's a hair in there. That's nice. So this is distilled water, about half water, half varnish. And the reason I like to cut it with water is because it really goes on better without any streaking. It works beautifully. So I'm just going to take, and this is just a foam brush from Home Depot. These are like $1. They're very inexpensive, and you can use them multiple times. And what I do is I just dip into the half varnish, half water mix. And the first thing I do is I just really get a nice, kind of start in the middle and go up and down. And I did a video a long time ago using polyacrylic varnish, and I did the same exact method. However, I've learned since then that the polyacrylic can actually yellow over time. So I've switched. That was a long time ago, a couple of years, and I've been using Liquitex ever since. And then I take the flat part of the brush and I just sort of drag it down. And this is not a slow process. This is not methodical. It's the less you work with it, the less likely you're going to have streak marks. So just run it down the canvas just like that, and then flip it over to the drier side of the brush. Do the same thing one more time. And on a big canvas, sometimes you do half first and then do the other half so you can do it quickly. And that's it. So once that's been done, let's see if I can get a good angle on the lighting here. I'll show some dried results of it as well. And then from there, I just kind of put a little bit more on your brush, kind of wipe off the excess, and then just go along your edges. Make sure to get the corners really good. Sometimes the very corner of a painting gets forgotten. And this cleans up any drips that came off the top. Try really hard not to touch the top of the painting while you're doing this, because you've already got that nice cohesive, so it's got a nice cohesive coat of varnish on the top. You don't want to disturb that. So we're just going to go along the edges. And you can do this, I usually do 2 coats. If you're doing a high gloss finish, you can do 3, 4, 5 coats just to build up and make it start to almost look kind of like a resin finish. Before you varnish, you always want to make sure that there's no hair or dust or anything like that on your canvas. I just picked one off of mine. And that's it. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple process, really. And I know it can be kind of intimidating because you have a piece of work that you love and you don't want to ruin it. And the key for me has been just to get in and get out and don't mess with it. You know, if the first layer isn't perfect, if you come back and it's like, oh, you've missed a little spot, then just go ahead and go in with another layer or another coat of varnish and clean it up that way instead of trying to touch it while it's wet, because that's where you're going to get streaking and white streaks and brush marks and things like that. I hope this was super helpful, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. I'm going to show you how I resin my coasters. So these are actually, I did not make these coasters. I had a friend who I'd mentored before who came and did a workshop with me, and she made these coasters. So beautiful job, Katie. All right, I'm using, I really like this resin Stone Coat Art Coat. I've used it for canvases, I've used it for coasters. It's been wonderful. I have another brand of resin I'm going to show you really quick that I really like. And I've used these on my coasters as well. It's called Faux Rizzel Art Resin. Wonderful stuff as well. I've used KS resin. I like KS resin. I did a review on Magic Fly resin a while back, and I don't highly recommend that product after using other products. So this is part A, part B. So for epoxy resin, you mix half part A, half part B. And that's why they send you a half gallon of each. So you mix them equally. And I let these sit in a bath of warm water for about 20 minutes before I use them, especially since my studio is kind of cold. It's winter time. In the summer, it's kind of easier to get resin to move because it's warmer. But so I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see here. I'm going to do 50 mils. And I love these cups where you can measure right inside the cup. It's great. Pixis sent me these. I think I got them at the Fluid Art Experience, which I will be teaching at again in April. I'd love to see you there. So I did 50 mils of each. And because it's been warmed up, it's really, it's got a thinner consistency when it's warm. And this resin is cold. It is so hard to work with. And my studio sits at about 65 degrees when I'm not in here in the winter. Yeah, so April 27th. Okay, I'm going to actually put a mask on. I usually wear a respirator when I'm doing this, but I'm going to compromise my lungs just a little bit for you guys because I wanted to talk through it. So I'm just going to put a KN95. We all know what KN95 our masks are. Nobody knew before 2020, and now we all know what they are. All right. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I have the full respirator mask, so you're going to stir this for about, they say 3 minutes. I stir it just until it gets really crystal clear. Okay, so mixed my resin. It's full of bubbles, but that's okay because we're going to pop them once they're onto the tiles. I've heard, you hear a lot about safety with resin. Your skin is your largest organism on your body. I try not to let this stuff touch my skin, and plus it's awful to get off. So I always wear gloves. I'm wearing this, but I do recommend a full respirator mask, which I have one in my Amazon shop that I use. They're not that expensive. They're pretty straightforward, easy to use. I think that's the way to go to keep the stuff out of your lungs. And I'm just going to make sure these are kind of nice and level. So I'll put there is measurements for like canvases as far as how much resin to use. I just kind of eyeball this, to be honest. Just go ahead and put like a nice amount. And hexagon tiles are a little tricky because you have all these corners. I'm like, oh, I should just do round ones. It'd be so much easier. But I love these honeycomb hexagon tiles. I think they're really pretty. So I've got a little bit more resin than I need, so I'm just going to kind of go for it here. Make sure I get really good coverage. Epoxy resin is self-leveling, so what that means is it's going to like level itself out. And from here, I just kind of go from the middle and pull it off the edges and the corners. They make some tools that are great, especially if you're doing a big canvas or something like that. These, and you can actually, it allows you to kind of spread it without like pushing all of it off the edge, but you can like spread it fairly evenly. So that works really well, especially on a larger surface. I find for these, I just use this little spatula tool and it works just fine. So we're just spreading it out. A lot's dripping onto the puppy pad here. Just want to make sure you get all of your corners and edges. And the bottom of these, I have used blue tape and taped them right up to the edge of the tile. So tomorrow, when they're like 80% cured, I'll gently pick them up and even warm up. You can use a torch and kind of warm up because you're going to have little drips that come off the bottom. You can warm those up and just peel the tape right off. And then these particular tiles come with cork backing that sticks on, which is really cool. And these are, I did put these tiles in my Amazon shop as well if you're interested. I did get them from Amazon and they're great. Okay, I'm going to be quiet and just kind of finish up the work, and then we'll do some popping of the air bubbles. Okay, so now that we have resin on them, I'm going to take this torch. This is good. It's just a creme brulee torch. You can also use a heat gun. Just going to pop all the air bubbles. Make sure not to get the flame too close because it can actually burn. It can actually burn your resin. I like to come back in about 5 minutes and do it again. Pop the air bubbles again. Look at what these look like. Come back and really check your edges. You can take drips, make sure you get all your edges and corners really well. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Just going to give you a little snapshot of my studio while we're at it. I just cleaned things up kind of for the new year. So all my paints, got my table nice and clean and ready to go. There's that painting Sacred Circle I did recently. Sacred Circle. Is that what it was called? Anyways, much love, everybody. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.